Hello, everyone. Welcome to Strength Hammer Presents the Big M's Power Hour for December 2020. I am your co-host, Chuck. Hope everyone's doing well. But let me introduce you to Big M himself, Matt, who's running the show.
Hell yeah, I'm your primary host. So we had another great month of releases and news and rumor engines. So we're going to wrap it all up into one show with a nice big old Christmas bow on it for you.
Yep.
So before we get started, Chuck, how's your hobby been?
Hobby's been great.
It doesn't matter about your hobby. That's
That's
not what
right.
this show's about.
That's
Oh, you
right.
walked right into it.
I'm sorry. Hold on. Let me put my canary away that I'm painting. I'm sorry. Should we? I mean,
I gotcha.
we can't talk about
I
fitness
gotcha.
either.
Nope. Nope.
Oh, darn it.
Nope.
Okay. Well,
You So now's the time if you want to eat some cake or some cookies or
nah.
something. Now's the time because that's
that was Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving was the day where I didn't track a single calorie and I indulged as much as possible. I hope everyone else did. Hope everyone else had a great Thanksgiving. Matt, how was your
yeah,
Thanksgiving
yeah,
slash birthday?
yeah, yeah. Good as always. Good as always. The National Cheat Day. Although, like again, I'm not a huge fan of Thanksgiving food, so I probably stayed right in where I normally am. So
Oh well, for me it's probably my favorite holiday as far as food goes. Oh man, I still have leftovers, but like I said, it's back on the right train of tracking and all that. But yeah, no, it's been a good month as far as releases, and it doesn't look like it's letting up. So I'm glad that you had the idea
yeah,
to do this type of this power hour just to help get these news out there. Because it helps me remember, like, oh yeah, this
right.
stuff came out.
Right. Well, yeah. So honestly, the reason why I wanted to do it was twofold. One was because I always forget when things came out, and yes, this information is spread about everywhere and everyone covers it. But now I can just go back and look at my own
hmm
channel to go, okay, what came out in November? What came out in December? Um, and then, like I said, and two, again, I think it's also a good retrospective to go, oh, yeah, I guess we did get more than I thought. So,
Yeah. So remember,
because it's
everyone.
always,
Just remember,
yeah,
everyone.
the big bug of it is always like well, nothing ever comes out for AOS, or they've only been focusing on Warhammer or 40k, and now it's like no, look,
Okay,
here's how
no.
well they're splitting it out pretty well.
Like, just big takeaways, real quick, for everyone to remember. One, we do this for ourselves most of all, but secondly, we do
Yeah,
it better than anybody else out there. So, all right, if you're not tuning in, you aren't hearing this. So, if you are tuning in, let everybody else know they're missing out. Like, share, subscribe, smash the like
favorite,
button, ring the bell,
comment, destroy notification bell.
give us 5-star reviews or whatever. I don't know. So Matt, take it away. Let's
All
check
right.
everything out.
So again, last month we were a little bit later than we planned, so we covered the first week of November in the last one. So if you want what happened the first week, go back, check episode one of the Power Hour. Otherwise, so we're going to start on um, the 10th of November, where we had the very first article of the time, the Sisters of Battle 1 year on. It
Which
was
real quick, if
yeah,
everyone's listening on the podcast, be sure to check it out on YouTube, where you can actually view all these articles that we bring it up as we sit here and chat. You can watch our talking heads as well.
and of course, all of these articles come from the Warhammer community site. Every once in a while, Chuck might grimace, but I might pull something from a rumor site.
Yeah. No,
But there really hasn't been anything too substantial in any of those yet
actually, that
recently.
it, for our audience, if you are interested in seeing us maybe review other stuff, other people's articles like Goonhammer or Mangle Miniature, like, to help call out those as well that you might miss, like let us know in the comments or reach out
Yeah,
to us on Twitter. Like if you want to, we could figure out how to squeeze that in, no problem. Like,
yeah, definitely. All right, so back to the Sisters Battle 1 year on. This was a really nice article. No new information, but it was just kind of a roundup of one of the most anticipated army releases, at least for 40k, that I can remember. It goes in and reminds you that the battle box came out in November of 2019, and then the actual army released in January. So at the time, I remember thinking that it felt like a good long while was passing, but
Mm-hmm.
in retrospect, it wasn't all that bad. Just looking through some of these, like that centerpiece model of the Triumph of St. Catherine.
Yeah.
There's so much going on there.
Yeah, and that was the first real like diorama model we started getting for both 40K and Age of Sigmar, if I remember. I can't remember if Catacross was before them or not.
Yeah.
I think these were before Catacross.
No, you're right.
It was very close to each other. So
yeah. I look forward to see what else they do, because I think this is a great idea.
Yeah. Also, if you're listening, the furnace is still part of this podcast in my basement, so I hope you're enjoying that.
It's our third co-host.
Yeah. I'm torn on these because I like this one, the Triumph St. Catherine. I don't like the Catacross one. So, like,
How do you not like Catacross?
I don't know. It's just something about, like, this I could see on the 40K battlefield, as insane as it is, like, moving forward and slowly, and then the sisters protecting it. But Catacross, like... I don't know.
Do you think it's the fact that he's standing there, like, looking at orders and stuff?
Yeah,
it's
like,
a very
it feels...
stagnant pose.
Yeah. Like, it's one of those things, like, I can't tell why... Like, I don't hate the model, but I can't tell you why it doesn't hit for me. I just know it doesn't hit for me. Like, I think these could be really cool models, I just want to... As long as they could be very hit or miss, I think.
Like I said, I feel, honestly, at this point, with how many models I have, every model that doesn't hit is a blessing.
That's true. That's very true.
Yeah. Honestly, with I don't know how this works in game, but I know with Cataphrose, if it was me, I would have all of those extra guys magnetized. Oh, don't have that rule? Pull them off.
Oh yeah, that would work well.
And then let's see here. Then in March of 2020 came out one of my favorite vehicles in 40K, the Immolator, that actually has a stained glass window.
Yes. Yep.
I think the only thing in my mind that competes with it is, I can't remember the name of it now, but it's the Sisters of Battle tank that uses the organ for the missile launcher.
Oh yes. I know. I'm drawing a blank on it, but yeah.
Well, we're not a 40K podcast, so
yeah, we don't have to remember.
We can only be held so responsible.
Yeah, I mean the sisters definitely they hit everything that is 40K to me. I've thought about starting an army of them more than a few number of times. It's just I never felt like pulling the trigger on them.
I'm the same way with them, because like if I played 40K more regularly, probably, because you do have to know what you're doing whenever you play them. Though.
Yeah, it's really interesting, like because they have the faith mechanic, which is very similar to Tzeentch's dice roll mechanic. And I look at the Tzeentch army, and I'm like, nope, don't care, don't like it. And I look at it on the sisters, I'm like, yeah, I'd love to play this.
Whenever it comes to Tzeentch, I actually really like the models, and I feel a little deflated when I look at the rules.
Yeah.
I feel like I would kind of like a reason to bring mortals, because I think they look really cool.
Yeah.
But with the strength of their demons right now, especially, or mainly pink horrors and skyfires, there's not too much room for anything else. Yeah, so it's here. So then we also have, they pointed out in July is whenever
Ephriel Stern.
The pack of the Sister of Battle that is led astray, and what is he, a Harlequin?
Yeah, he's a Harlequin. It's there's a whole comic, like it's definitely an older comic they brought back. I actually have a copy of I have a copy of the original comics that I got from my local game store. He just gave them to me, and I haven't read it yet. But I heard it's good.
I was very tempted to pick up the new one whenever they re-released it, but we'll see.
Yeah.
All right, so then now that leads us into the future, where we have the upcoming Todd McFarlane action figure, which
they did a good job getting some of the color blocking down.
Yeah, this is definitely one where I think they're expecting you to do the rest.
Yeah,
the sculpt is amazing. The details are non-existent. I'm I missed the first wave, so I'm definitely going to make sure I'm going to get this wave. And then, of course, we have a couple more. We have one more model at least shown to come out in the future.
Senior Sororitas.
Yeah. So we'll see. Oh, and then we also have a VR game that's coming out for Sisters of Battle. I just see that being a nausea fest. So if you can handle VR without getting nauseous,
I can. I always,
here's your game.
Matt, I always enjoy when we're together with friends and I take over the VR. Usually it's either with Beat Saber, but I love when I take it over with the piloting games like Star Wars, and everyone just flees because I'm trying to be like, I'll do things and like make everybody sick. Like I'm making hard bank turns and looking over my shoulder and like, man, I love it. Anyway, another Star Wars podcast.
So on to our next one, our next article, the more festive treats from Black Library. Just to kind of touch on this real quick, because I know we did talk about it last time. They did release the Solar War map.
I saw people on Twitter getting their copies in hand.
Yeah, I mean, I love this sort of thing. Like anything that is kind of like a relic or an artifact from the setting is just stuff that I love. Like the Imperial, the book. What are they called? The
Imperial Infantryman's Handbook. Yes, sorry.
Yeah. On all honesty, like I said, I love those things. The only thing that pulls me out of it is whenever they have like pictures from the battle tomes or like artwork, and I'm like, okay, an infantryman's not going to be sitting there in a trench going, "What do I do? What do I do?" That's a pretty nice art.
I like this.
But like, I have the not the first one, but one of the older ones that actually has that cover that is like an actual military.
Yeah, the black one.
Handbook.
The second, that's the second edition one. I have that one as well, and I remember we played. You ran
the Death Watch game.
Yeah, you ran the Death Watch game, and I played not Imperial Guard. I played their slightly fancier boys.
The Soul.
Yes.
Yeah.
Tempestus Scion. And every time like I'd go to shoot, I'd open up, I'd recite the prayer of aiming, and you were just throwing bonus XP at me because that's all I would do. So.
Oh yeah, man. Hey, if you're gonna go that in, you get the rewards for it.
I went in enough to get the rewards, but not in enough to make me want to get the army.
I think if we would have done 2 sessions of that, I think you would have been eyeing them up. But
yeah.
All right, so then they announced the Horus Heresy Legion pin badges, the second set.
Got my Dark
and then they also got some character cloth patches, which
these are the type of things I want them to have on the shelves at every single Games Workshop store.
Right. This should be on the shelf of every Games Workshop. This should be on the shelf of every Hot Topic.
I mean, yeah. I mean, back whenever World of Warcraft was really getting big and they were doing pins and patches, they were in stores like that, and like it's so easy. Like, yeah, like I'll $5 more. Yeah, I'll buy this. For the Horde. So like, I'll put Godric Gurnison's. Yeah, I'll put Godric Gurnison's axe on my on my bag. Sure.
I mean, I just got that new army bag.
Battle Foam.
Yeah, Battle Foam. I got the Magna Racks, which are so far amazing. I would absolutely put the Eisenhorn book and Gottric's axe on that,
Now, I'm not going to say Battle Foam is the best product out there because they need to sponsor us or put an ad on our show before we do that, but I like them a lot.
Almost the best. Sponsorship will make them the best, though.
Yeah. If you don't sponsor us, we'll badmouth you.
Yeah. I heard they kick puppies, but we'll wait and find out if that's true or not.
Yeah.
All right, so on to the next article here.
New Death Guard terrain.
Now, did this article come about them accidentally posting this picture and people catching it, or?
I don't know. I didn't really see where this might have been accidentally posted. I'm not a Nurgle player at all, let alone and I'd be more inclined to do Nurgle in Age of Sigmar if I. So this came out and I was like, okay, neat. I
Yeah.
guess no. The best part is like you could easily probably use this for both
Oh,
game systems.
absolutely. Well,
Yeah,
because so again, as someone who is only a tentative Nurgle player sometime in the future, I
always.
looked at this and I saw it and I was like, "There's nothing super techy about it." It's a smokestack. There's some vents. There's
Mhm.
the bells that are actually on the exact same bells that are on the tree.
Yep.
Uh, and then even the furnace lid looks like a fantasy style like boilermaker or something.
Yeah.
So this can absolutely be used uh, as terrain for both AOS and 40k with almost no conversion.
Right.
Uh, it reminds me of the Chaos Marines, the big summoning circle thing that they have,
Oh
and that
yeah.
just because that has some like wires and
Hey,
plugs on it.
but
But
even still, because for Holy Havoc, Steve out there, he used one in the middle of a Dreadhold, and it looked perfect.
yeah,
There was
looks
no
great.
issues. Like I was like I knew like personally I know that was a 40k kit, but I'm like, no, it's fine. It's perfectly fine.
Yeah,
It looks great.
yeah. All right, so on to the next article here. Of course, on this show, we will always point out everything Middle Earth. It's an
Always.
amazing game. Go
It
play it
is.
if you're not playing it right now.
Go play it
Uh,
now.
this was an article called "Top 10 Good Combat Heroes in Middle Earth," and by good combat heroes, it does not mean good as in, hey, that's a good character. No, Middle Earth is broken down to forces of good and forces of evil. So this is the good guys essentially.
Hmm.
Of course, even before looking at this, I knew Aragorn was going to be number one. Um, Aragorn, and anyone that actually plays this knows that Aragorn is an absolute monster in this game. Um, even opposed to like people like Gil-galad and
Yeah, I'm surprised Gil-galad was number 4, but I mean,
I was expecting to be higher, but as you see, like with number two is Boromir
Boromir.
with the standard. Um, if that hero cannot absolutely decimate everything, it had better have an amazing bonus to the army.
I'm
Um,
I am a little upset. Where's now maybe they're focusing more on the characters known from the movies, but where are Elrond's sons? Because weren't they
well,
beasts in combat too? Come on now.
so they are very good, but they are not
Okay,
amazingly
so not this
good.
level.
And also on top of that, it is two characters, so they might not have put them in for that.
Maybe.
If you are going to count them together, they're definitely better than Dwalin and probably better than Eomer.
Yeah. Hey, listen, I'm just a Rivendell fanboy, so that's why I'm always gonna.
I have to be so careful with this because it is such a slippery slope. Right now, I have fiefdoms and rangers of the north, but I could easily see that slipping into Arnor,
He,
Gondor.
here's the thing, Matt. We don't. Whenever we get together to play, because we don't get together like every week, we get together like
Right.
maybe like every other month. That we're usually gonna play Age of Sigmar, because like if we're gonna commit the time to see each other, we're gonna commit that. But like if we played
Right.
this a little bit more, like we both love it. It's a great game system. Like I wouldn't mind having more options. Like I have enough to do a pretty standard tournament legal sized list, and I have a few allies, Mirkwood allies. But yeah, I'd love to just go have full Rivendell and just I would buy more. Like I said, it's buying 3 28mm models to paint. Like, oh boy, what a day I'm gonna have painting those.
Right. Right. Yeah, like I said, as always, get out there and at least try it. Watch some YouTube channels. Although there's no big YouTube channels, it's not incredibly popular. But
It's a solid game system though.
yeah. All right. So on to our next. Who is Jacob Bugmanson the 11th?
Now here's the
I know
thing.
we.
I've resisted buying this model somehow still. I don't like. I because I know what
have.
I know what's gonna happen. I will buy this
You're gonna
model,
start a KO army.
and not just a KO. Like I'm kind of like you. If I was to do a army, this I have my daughter's cane. So if I want to push someone's face in, I will grab my daughter's cane. Every other army I have that is pretty much just what I like of it. This guy,
Yeah.
I would buy him. I would have a little bit of KO. I'd have a few Fire Slayers, and I'd have Depossessed. I'd have a mixed list, and it would be awful. And I would just love it'd be doing it for the love of dwarves, because I do, even though I'm an elf fanboy, I do have an old Depossessed army. It's still on squares. I left it there. I painted it up during the end times. I was like, okay, I can let it there, but it's
Yeah.
If I buy him or he just appears in my hands somehow, I will probably be starting a dwarf army. I think that's the only reason why I've resisted buying him yet.
So I bought one, and I'm very tempted to buy two more.
Is one of them to give to me to make me do dwarves?
Three more.
Okay, well, what was your plans for the other two then? I'm curious.
Well, so one to just keep in the box. I know these will never be worth anything, but it's nice to just like have one that's pristine, and then do one with and without the helmet. Even though, yes, I know I can magnetize, but it's a KO. You just throw some metallic paint at it, and it looks awesome. So yeah, this model. Honestly, this model here is basically what I feel KO is lacking with the big axe.
The classic dwarfiness.
Yeah. I would again. I know it's a top competitive army. Everyone loves it. And it's great, and it's working perfectly for everybody. But I would happily trade away some of the moving shenanigans for an anvil. I would, in a traditional anvil. I'm not talking about 20 Thunderers with a chemist inside, giving everyone -2 to hit, even though they're still on a 4-up with shooting shenanigans.
See, I wonder what I would use him as, though, because he doesn't have rules for the game yet.
Yeah.
So it's like, obviously it's some KO here. I guess Endrin Master?
I think you could get away with either Endrin Master or Chemist.
Yeah, maybe a Chemist would make more sense.
Creating alcohol. It's chemistry.
Yep. So yeah, there's my future dwarf army plans. After I paint Teclis. Yeah, after I paint Teclis, I have no other plans for armies, so if nothing sparks my interest, and I have a Jacob Bugmanson the 11th sitting around, we'll see what happens.
All right, so on to the next one. Quick touch of the Never Chosen.
Oh yeah, this is a great little comic. I'm just glad that they're willing to poke fun at themselves.
Yeah. The Dry Wit. This is the one where they have the Lumineth Stone Guard with the stupid bull hat with the other members of Order hanging laundry off of it.
Well, see, here's the best part about this laundry. On the left, we have a Melusai, so there's a snake. So on her side, there's a pair of socks hanging off his helmet. On the other side, we have a Fire Slayer, and there's a pair of boxers hanging off of it. So neither one of these beings who are laughing at him wear these. So they just got dirty laundry off something just to hang on his hat.
And I absolutely love the shit-eating grin on the Fire Slayer's face.
Oh my god, that's a good shit-eating grin. Yeah, that's a good.
All right, so moving along here, we got the Indexed Astartes, the Tome Keepers.
Yeah. Now, Matt,
I thought this was super neat idea.
Do you pick up the White Dwarfs?
Sometimes. Okay. I basically pick them up whenever there's something free in there that I want.
So you picked up this last month for sure.
Not yet, but I will be.
Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff in that one.
Yeah, I do. I just feel like a lot of the times, like I'll read the bat reps, and I'm like, I don't know. It's hard for me to buy into it. Maybe if they put the battle on Twitch. But I don't know. To me, like I said, it's just, I don't know. There's something weird about reading about someone else playing a game. I'll watch the video, but I don't know if I need to read about it.
See, I've always been a fan of White Dwarf. Like when I really started this hobby, that it was like, because I wasn't on social media yet. I didn't really know about that, and it was still fantasy at the time. But like this was how I connected to the broader I guess, community. So like, I'm still religious about buying these. I mean, I know what you mean. There's some things on there. It's like I haven't read every article in these magazines when they come out. I've not read one of these cover to cover for a long time, but there's always something in there that I want to read. Like there's great lore. I'd like, like this Tome Keepers, the White Dwarf exclusive chapter. It was really cool to see. My favorite is always going to be, I think, the Tale of Four Warlords when they do those.
Yeah,
because that's like an ongoing thing. Yeah.
For this article specifically, I really think it's a neat idea that White Dwarf decided to put together their own chapter. I assume it's probably legal for play. I again, I haven't read the rules for them or anything yet, but I just think it's neat that it's like, hey, all the White Dwarf guys, we're in our own little club here. Here's something for you guys, and I love the paint scheme. That quickly shoots to like probably my top 10. Although I really wish they would do a how to paint part. There probably is in the actual White Dwarf though.
There is. They're how the paint forge is about them. So
yeah. And I love that they came up with a named character for themselves.
Yep.
That was awesome.
Nasium.
Now, of course, the only thing is we have to wait and see if they do that for a Stormhost.
That would be cool. I do like, because like was it last year, the Nova Open got their official chapter, because there was always like called the Nova Marines. It was the orange and black of Nova Open. They're an official chapter now. They were in White Dwarf with rules. So I like this. Like, why not? Like, not everyone's going to be playing tournament level competitive. Like, make some fun stuff. So, like, someone somewhere has saw this and said this is really cool, and they're going to be starting their own own part of this army. So
yeah, in all honesty, it whenever I was reading it kind of sparked a lot of ideas of like how easy it is to just add a chapter or a Stormhost or something like that. I wouldn't mind seeing them go expanding on it and actually have like a competition for people to submit their own ideas, and like they whittle it down to like 5 or 10 to try and get all the Stormy McStorm faces out.
Yeah. See, I'd like to as well, because like I love doing narratives for my armies, and my Stormhost, they're called the Scions of Strength, and they're red and white, as you can probably guess by the logo for Strength Hammer. That's kind of what it was all based off of, since it's Stormcast Strong and all that. But like, I haven't really put much. Like, I had some lore for them, but I didn't really, that was like really early on, before like there's much actual lore in the Mortal Realms. Like, I really want to get back to them, but I don't know how I'd want to do that.
I think they gotta sweeten the pot a little bit, I think.
Yeah.
It's like, I'll tell you, I read some of the articles about Stormcast, or some of the stories like in Broken Realms and stuff, and I really like them, but then I put them on the table and I'm like, this is the most vanilla, boring experience I could imagine.
I don't bring them out. I can't tell you last time they've been on the table was anything other than a proxy.
Yeah,
because I'm like, let me try out this list. Oh, these are on 40 mils. I'll try them.
Yeah, well, that's I could do a whole show on that one. So let's move along here before we get.
Yeah. All right.
So next we had another quick article I'll just touch on: the Broken Realms Cursed Gift. So this is a small, either PDF or EPUB story.
All about the best faction in Age of Sigmar, the Daughters of Cain.
Against one that's getting a little too much spotlight. But yeah, like I said, if you want to keep up with Broken Realms, or if you can't get enough Broken Realms, this is how you scratch that itch. So
I mean, you've listened to our review, and how great the first Broken Realms Morathi book is, and then these short stories just make it better. Like, this is top tier writing going into all of it, and it's enthralling to no end.
Yeah. So like I said, that is definitely one thing to keep an eye out. Again, that came out on the 13th. So if you want to go back and read it, definitely make sure you do. But continuing the Broken Realms trend, on Monday they came out with another thing.
What's next?
Broken Realms, What's Next? So it just kind of goes over what's, kind of where we go from here. It talks about,
it shows off my favorite, one of my favorite. It's probably top 3, if not top 2 pieces of art of Morathi. I love this.
The first picture or the second one?
The first picture, where she's like clutching out the heart, and there's all the
Yeah.
witch elves around. I mean, plus you can see it here on screen. There's that bootylicious witch elf right there. Just
So
I
let
mean,
me ask,
what's the hate about that?
How do you think she puts those wings on? Do you think someone helps her?
I mean, I assume it's just like a living metal, like her crown. Like you've watched Thor Ragnarok, right? Like Hela,
Yeah,
they just kind of just grow out of her. Like I imagine something like that.
I'd like to assume that this one in front just helps her like put it on and balance it and pin it in. And
There's like thousands of. Where's the bobby pin?
yeah,
Which
1,000
else?
bobby pins. Yeah, so basically it talks about the head of the paragraph there is Marathi's ambition.
Mhm.
Basically, hey, we are turning to the next chapter, but that doesn't mean Marathi's taking a back seat anytime soon.
Oh, she's. I mean, we have to figure out what happens. I mean, spoilers, sure, whatever. There's a Stormcast free right now that is gonna go tell Sigmar, hey, you no longer have Anvilgard. Anvilgard doesn't exist.
Right. Yeah. If they get, whenever their new rules come out, I would be shocked to see Stormcast as an ally on it. So then
this new
Slaanesh Unbound. So I expect to see the next book is probably going to have a little bit, just a tiny focus on Slaanesh itself.
Well,
and then
I think the Slaanesh story is big enough that I don't know, like it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be like ongoing. It's gonna be like the theme behind the whole theme.
I think what it's going to be is I think it's going to be Marathi's on one side and Slaanesh's on the other, and I think they're going to be the two driving forces of the story overall. But if there is rule updates to Slaanesh, I think we're going to see them here. I don't know. It does talk about the Hedonites of Slaanesh, but I feel like it's too soon from what they showed us. I don't know. I can't even begin.
Well, we can speculate more when we come to the preview stuff.
Yeah. And then of course there's my boys up next, the Lumineth. There's a nice picture of Teclis.
Yeah, this is a great
coming
picture
down from the sky.
Actually, real quick, because I'm trying to up my thumbnail game for our YouTube channel. I think for Big M's Power Hour, it's going to be this picture, and your face is going to be on Teclis, and I'll put mine on Selenar. That might be the thumbnail going forward for this.
That'll work. Just try and get rid of like my third and fourth chin. That'd be good. So that's exciting to see them getting touched upon already, even though they just released and they are still just a kettle ready to blow. I mean, I can't wait to see what happens with them.
I need to get my Teclis so I can finish my army. He's the last piece I need. But I got some K-Knights to paint right now, so I'm happy boy. So I'm not stressing.
Yeah. All right. So on to the next article, License to Gift. So this is just a friendly reminder that the Warhammer community team has been pumping out merchandise, and not just shirts. Which I'm actually wearing one of the shirts. I'm wearing my
one of my shirts. I'm gonna plug my boy Oscar Lars, his new shirt.
Oh wow, that is a nice art.
Yeah, as I kick something beneath my desk and make lots of noise.
So again, like I said, there's mugs. There's actually a leather jacket that looks really awesome.
Tons of video games.
Yeah, they're talking about all the video games coming out, all the video games that are out.
I want them to have Age of Sigmar ugly Christmas sweaters.
Oh, I know.
Or at least a Dark Angel one. Like, I don't want to buy the Ultramarines one. Sorry.
Maybe next year. Next year. But yeah, so I said that if you don't know, I can't imagine there's someone that's listening to this that isn't into the art or into one of these games. But if you have a loved one that wants to buy you Warhammer stuff and they have no idea what to get them, and you have no idea what to get yourself,
and you don't want to make them spend $60 to $100,
right? Point them to this. You can get a mug or something. I mean, there's easy little stuff. Of course, there's also really big stuff like professional grade prints and stuff. Yeah. All right.
Actually, real quick, the Calgar comic is in here. Yes. Have you looked at all about what's in it, there's a really interesting twist that made Marnius Calgar very interesting very quickly, and it was only the second issue.
Huh? No, I haven't. I haven't actually have not followed up.
So
I've been meaning to go down to my comic shop though.
So there's a spoiler here. So keep that in mind. So Marnius Calgar is Marnius Calgar, but he's not. So the real Marnius Calgar died when they were kids. This is his like best friend and like servant. They were training to become Space Marines. I won't give the whole story away, but like their true Marnius Calgar died, and his servant, who was like good friends with him, was protected by the real Marnius Calgar, who sacrificed his life to save him during the story that happens. So Marnius Calgar that we know is not technically the true Marnius Calgar, but he took the name and continued on the legacy. So like
interesting.
Yeah. Like
interesting.
Like you may like Ultramarines were interesting for me in Horus Heresy, not so much in 40K. But that alone made me go, "Oh, maybe the boys in blue aren't so bad. I kind of like this."
Yeah, I said, well, I'll have to pick that up. I might just wait for it to be a trade paperback so I can put it on my shelf.
Yeah, just buy the whole thing.
Yeah. All right, so on to the first article of Armies on Parade 2020. This is the entry checklist.
I got the regimental standard up.
Oh, I must have nixed that. So there was a regimental standard talking about the Necrons.
Mm-hmm.
Again, like I said, it's a 40K thing. We're not super big into 40K, but regimental standard is pretty neat. They do put a lot of effort into it, so
it's a really good. It's a good read, even if you're just kind of on the fringe of 40K. Like we play it, we know the lore. I think we know we're more into the lore than we are into the game itself. But like they're worthwhile reads. They're funny.
Yeah. The lore is much cheaper and quicker. All right. So now is Armies on Parade, right?
No, I got introducing the 12 Tales of Christmas.
Where'd that go?
I'm on the 18th of November. Or did I jump ahead? I might have jumped ahead on my links.
You jumped ahead.
Okay, I might have misclicked the one. Why don't you tell us about the Armies on Parade one then?
Armies on Parade. So this basically goes over the checklist. It's pretty interesting. You know, most of it is kind of self-explanatory. Like it says creating a theme, obviously. Finish painting your miniatures, obviously. Number 3 was surprised where it said mount your models on a gaming board. I've never mounted them. I've always just placed them.
Yes.
If you want to go ahead and go that far, go for it. But I ain't doing that.
Yeah.
Let's unify your bases, which again, like I said, if you're going to tournaments or anything competitive, that's basically already in the
rules packs.
Yeah, it's already kind of in there. Add some cool terrain, of course. You don't want just flat board. Like they literally have 2 pictures above it where it's just a Great Force with 2 craters. That's it. And take good pictures. Yeah, guys, I can't tell you how many times on Facebook and stuff, and I can be guilty of this as well, but some of the pictures people are posting.
Oh yeah, it's
there's the absolute amazing, and we'll get into armies here in a little bit here, but like just like the normal, like, hey, this is a work in progress. Like you don't hold it up in front of your computer monitor and take the picture there. There are plenty of entries, or plenty of tutorials online to get a good picture.
Right.
Yeah, take good pictures. Take them good. All right, and then here's the regimental standard, which we covered, and then on to the 12 Tales of Christmas. Again, we like to point out whenever they do anything like this, again, the more lore you have, the more time you keep yourself busy.
Mm-hmm.
They are going to be releasing 12 stories. Are they?
They're releasing them on the even numbered days from the 2nd to the 24th.
Yep, and you can get all 12 of them for $10, or for 10. Just 12 for 10. The price of 10.
Here's
Buy
the thing.
10,
like,
get 2 free.
I've always like, man, I really want to do this. Like, I've always liked the Black Library Advent stuff. The artwork from this last one wasn't really my jam. There was the one Daughters of Cain one, but you know, I'm not going to buy the whole thing just for that one Daughters of Cain poster, as cool as it was. Yeah. But I might jump in on this one just because I just like getting short stories. Like, it's like, you know, like I'd look forward to this every other day. Just like, oh man, I got to spend an hour going to read this. Like, I don't know, there's something just nice about that. Plus, I like advent calendars because I like counting down to Christmas.
Yeah, that's yeah. Like I said, there's really not too much to go into here, but just again, just to know that it is there, and it hasn't started yet. I don't believe.
No, it starts
So
on
you
the
can still
second.
get into it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're usually
All
pretty
right.
good. You can start any time, and then you get the
Yeah.
backlog. So,
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So now we have our Space Marine Gladiator model focus.
oh boy, that is
So
a model.
yeah, this is. Do they have a size comparison? Yeah, so it looks like it is.
Do they have one?
Of course. Well, yeah, there we go.
Oh yeah,
Last
yep,
picture
got it up.
has next to a Tyranid. This looks like this is basically the Razorback Primaris.
Right.
They have gone um, all levitators now,
Right.
which I was actually kind of surprised because that was supposed to be lost technology.
They found it. It's okay.
Yeah, they found it. Carl, you figured it out. I mean, again, he did perfect the gene seed, so I guess, sure, whatever.
Yeah.
It looks great. It has a bunch of different options. I always love seeing all the different options available. It's like I said, you're a Space Marine player, you better take a look.
See, I wish there was a rule for these levitation tanks, because in the Horus Heresy, I forget what it was. There was a part of a story. So one of the Chaos, the fallen Space Marines, I forget who it was exactly, but he's like laying underneath tanks with treads and putting like mines underneath them as they roll over him. Like he'll just stick it on and then it'll go down the line and explode. And there's like a levitating tank coming, because they had them back in the Horus Heresy a lot.
Yeah.
As it's coming over, he's just laying down and waiting, and he doesn't understand that the technology works by pushing the mass of this thing away, so he just gets crushed like a can. Like, I wish you could fly over units with these things and do like D3 mortal wounds to a unit. Like,
that'd be really cool.
And maybe you can. I don't know. I don't think you can.
Yeah,
but.
I don't think so either. That'd be pretty strong, considering they already have some pretty strong rules. Now, the one thing I will say, the issue that I see, the issue I foresee with all this is, like, whenever I've made any Space Marine lists, by the time I get all my bases covered for what units I need to do what, I do not have any points left over for vehicles.
Yeah, you kind of have to want to have them in mind. And I think in this edition, I'm hearing from the podcast I listen to that vehicles do have a place right now.
Good.
Like I said, I know going into this edition, I've said it before, I was going to go all Primaris, and then they made all the old Marines good, and then they made freaking Dark Angel Terminators amazing. So I'm like, okay, I guess I'm just playing my Terminators now, mostly.
Yeah. All right. So on to another quick little touch base here. Where is Typhus?
Who cares?
First off, this is the first. This is the first I heard he was missing. I didn't know. But no, this is a fun little.
Hold on, I found him. If you're looking on the video, he's right here.
Very good.
Got him.
Yeah.
Close this one out, Matt.
Mystery
We got
solved.
it. Yep.
Yeah. So this is just a nice little article about like where the where the narrative is and kind of where it's going. If you're a Death Guard player, you're definitely gonna have some stuff to look forward to here.
Yeah, this is them going, hey, Death Guard, your supplement's coming. Yeah, or it's out already. I don't know. But hey, there's new stuff coming. There is one cool artwork in here that I hate and I love. It's the Terminus Est, his Typhus' flagship. Like, just seeing that makes me go, oh, that's so cool.
Now I'll tell you what, like with Death Guard, it really makes me wish that they would branch out with Chaos Space Marines a little bit more. I do feel like they should kind of get a little bit more love, even though I don't really play Chaos Space Marines and I don't really have any issue.
Yeah, I mean, they have a little bit, like, the Death Guard is a good one because they gave out Mortarion. Obviously, the Thousand Suns, you have Magnus Red there. I mean, Ultramarines have Guilliman. I want more Primarchs back, good or bad.
I do too.
Give me the line. Give me Russ. Give me Angron. Oh my gosh, give me Angron. I never cared for Angron. I thought he was like so one-dimensional. Then I started looking into his time before he started falling to Chaos, and man, talk about getting the shaft. Like, he could have been I'm starting to fall in love with him, but like, yeah, it's just
Of course, I would like to see him be like essentially the like one of those giant soul grinders with just his head on top.
nah, he's more BA than
But yeah,
that.
listen. In all
And
honesty, at
where's
this
Fulgrim?
point, I am very much. I'm because it's been. It has to be what at least a couple years at this point since um, Gulliman came out, right?
2 or 3?
Yeah, I mean, come on, man. I get it. I understand you don't want to explode with them, but
No,
come on.
explode with him. Bring him out. I don't care.
Yeah.
Bring him out.
Yeah.
Like that's what we want. Like
Yeah.
honestly, like what I fell in love with 40k lore by being told about 30k lore.
Yeah.
So give me that.
I fell in love with 40k lore by being told about bolters and how they work.
Fair.
But yeah, listen, I mean, I do agree that I personally have no problem with them doing an explosion of Primarchs all at once, because again, I know there's a lot of people that love the Primarch. So again, it's like, oh, I really love Space Wolves, but I want to use a Primarch, but Gulliman's out, so I'll go Ultramarines. Or, oh, I really want to
like
play Black
horse,
Legion.
Yeah.
Well, I guess Black Legion does have Abaddon.
Yeah.
You know, if there's like, the Slaanesh one, I can't think of the
Fulgrim.
Emperor's Children.
Yeah, Fulgrim. That'd be great.
I want to play Emperors of Children, but you know,
well,
okay,
they need some more models too. But
yeah.
But yeah,
so like I said,
it's like I look at Age of Sigmar, like we have the gods on the table, like, and they're probably more powerful than obviously the Primarchs, but like just that's what I want. Like that's what I think a lot of people want. Not to mention like it forces you to change the story. So here's a small gripe with 40k lore. They had Psychic Awakening, which going into Broken Realms, we're all just like, oh, Broken Realms is going to be like our Psychic Awakening, and clearly now it's not. Which is fine. It's like Psychic Awakening. Like, I read through the I forget what it was, Ritual of the Damned, which had Dark Angels, which is my army, Grey Knights, and Thousand Sons, and that story did absolutely nothing for the grand scheme of anything. It's like here's a story, everyone that's named character or is a new model shows up, and then everybody leaves. Whereas like then you look at Broken Realms, it's like you've lost an entire city. Marathi's now a god.
Book 1.
Yeah, it's like in book 1, like Age of Sigmar is just pushing that narrative in fun ways. Like you can do that in 40k and still keep a status quo, and it's just like they're being too shy about it, and it's like, come on.
I honestly thought that the Psychic Awakening was going to bring about either a new Primarch or it was going to have Fabius Bile extracting the new gene seed to get Primaris Chaos Space Marines.
Yeah, when in actuality it did absolutely nothing as far as story, from what I can tell.
Right.
Other than the Necrons are still around. Okay, sure.
Yes, like we still have Necrons. Oh, but they're brass now. So.
Yeah. Anyway,
I do have to say that whenever they do update the Chaos Space Marines, I hope they do a little bit more than just make them Primaris. Like if they started like infusing demons with them or something like that, I think that would be a little bit more cool. But we'll see.
Mm-hmm.
All right, on to the next one. We had our episode 2 of the Meta Watch for 40k.
Yeah. I still like these. Like it's.
Yeah, these are very. Like I said, I wouldn't necessarily call them super helpful. I think it might be good for someone that's new to the community and doesn't really understand how the tournament scene works. But I think those articles are necessary.
Yeah, and I can say too, like, I don't know the two gentlemen, Val Heffelfinger and Peter the Falcon. I don't know them personally, but I listen to a number of podcasts that they're on regularly. They just seem like cool dudes, and they're very entertaining. So when I saw their names, I'm like, it's going to be a good read.
You don't know the Falcon? Oh, man, me and the Falcon, we go way back. Way back. And again, of course, it's always good to see our buddy Mike's name up here across the top.
Yep, Mike Brandt continuing to make an impact, which I'm glad.
Proud.
Yeah, they could have chose a better person for that position.
Yeah. So this meta goes over kind of the army breakdown, which I wasn't too surprised. I think I was surprised to see Chaos. It was only at 18%.
Yeah, there was more Xenos than Chaos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But again, like I said, I mean, I would be surprised if Xenos was lower. So the only thing that could be lower is Imperium.
Which it's like order. There's just so many Imperium armies.
Right.
So.
Right. Now, again, so this kind of takes me back to whenever we had the Sisters of Battle, you know. I know whenever we went to Nova and Adepticon before we were involved with those, you know, I went to the the Q&A sessions with GW, and you know, people were asking like, hey, why is it taking Sisters of Battle so long to get any attention? And you know, their response is like, well, no one's buying them. And so it's like, well, no one's buying them
it because you're not giving anything new.
Right. It's like no one's buying it because the models are 20 years old. They cost, for Sisters of Battle specifically, it was $100 for 10 metal models or something like that.
Yeah, I know.
And then the rules were terrible. So like,
I had probably, I'd say it might have been like it was probably about 750 points worth of Sisters of Battle, all metal. And I sold them because I'm just like, if I'm going to do this army, I'd want to do it all new plastic.
Yeah.
I was just
and
like,
so again, not to gripe about that, but it is one of those, you know, chicken or egg sort of thing. Like, you know, I know that previously their public opinion was, you know, their model company first, and so the models, you know, the model sales will dictate where they go.
Right.
But I feel like now it might be, that may have been murky, that may have been murked up a little bit, where I would like to think that they're getting to the point where they realize, hey, if we put out a good model but poor rules, it's not going to sell as well. I mean, if you go on GW's website today, all of the Blood Angel releases, spoilers for later in the video, are basically sold out.
Yeah.
You can still go and get a limited edition Sons of Bahamut battle tome. Or at least the last time I looked. It might be down by now. But like, those models are amazing. The Mega Gargants are gorgeous. But I don't think they're selling as well as they thought they were going to.
No, that was, I think that was more of a price point thing, honestly.
Well, price point, and again, like I said, even though, again, we don't know where the rules are and things are kind of making them appear that they're better than what we originally thought.
Mm-hmm.
The initial response was, that's it. And I think all of that culminated to kind of hamper these potentially lacking sales. And so I'm wondering if we've been seeing this really hard Imperial focus for years. You know, if a new model comes out, it's probably for the Imperium. If new rules come out, it's probably for the Imperium.
Well, it's like, if you play 40k, you should have a Space Marine army. If you play Age of Sigmar, you should have a Stormcast army. Because they're going to be evergreen. You know those will always be updated with rules and be getting new models. Like that, it's not to knock them. Like,
right. Well, I mean, again, at the same point, I know they're a small company. They can only make so many models at once.
Right.
I'm not besmirching them for that, and I know they want to come out with new things. However, I have friends that play 40k that play Eldar, who, whenever we started playing Eldar 15, 16 years ago, still are using the same models, and they're not outdated.
Yeah.
So again, I think it's an interesting debate, but we only have so much knowledge from where we are, because again, we have no insider information on any of that.
Yeah, what I think is too is like when they're making armies, I wonder. I don't know if they look at this, and I wonder if they do, because if they released an entire new Drukhari line right now, I would be like, cool. As a Daughters of Cain player, you just gave me a lot of conversion material. I'm gonna buy it. I'm gonna buy some of those. Like, they teased the new Lilith model from the looks of the tease they did a long time ago. Yeah, I'm buying that model instantly when it comes out. I don't have Drukhari. I mean, I almost did, but that's a different story.
You did.
I did, and then it became mats for the club because I was tired of playing on felt. But more than I wanted to paint a Drukhari army, which, whatever, I can always go back and do it again. But like, I'm buying that Lilith model, and she's gonna be like a slaughter queen for my Daughters of Cain. Like that.
Now, I will say one takeaway from this. I looked, and they have the faction breakdown, and Death Watch was only but 0.26% of the army's fielded.
Huh.
And I was like,
yeah, that was your boys for a
that
little bit there.
that no, they were my boys for a very long time. So that makes me go, oh, I should start a Death Watch army. I won't, but the thought is there.
Listen, as soon as they announce, and here's the thing too, I know what the next army I will play in 40k will be. It won't be Sisters. It's going to be Ynnari army, but I want a codex. I don't want to have to piece it together from 3 codexes. Give me a codex that has the stuff in it. Done.
Yeah.
Like that's what I'm waiting for. Once that comes out, second army, here we go.
Okay, on to our probably the main, probably the big article that we'll probably go over today, the Warhammer Preview Online, Decadence and Decay.
Yeah, and here's the thing too. Like, I saw. Ooh, I should pause that. Sorry, auto playing on my screen here. I've seen some people who are just like, oh man, that didn't seem like a lot. Like, but like, they're giving us these previews like almost one a month. Like, for a month of previews, this is pretty good.
Yeah, and I agree with both sides. Again, it's one of those things where whenever they started the previews, they were trying to mirror what they did at events. And now it's like, okay, instead of telling you, because again, I know that's how they announced Lumineth. And people were grumbling at the end of 6 months, where's my Lumineth? Same thing with Sons of Bahamut. Sons.
Subs.
Where are they? And so now I think they're trying to go, look, here's a little hour, here's 4 or 5 things, and hopefully we'll see them sooner than later.
I like it. It's also fun because like I'll jump on and chat with folks as we're watching it. They're great little ways to introduce stuff. I mean, and let's be honest too, like, and this is, I don't know anything, but just extrapolating out, I can't see Adepticon happening because as of this point, we have our rooms and events booked.
Yeah.
So these are going to continue for quite some time. I know LVO's supposedly going ahead. They have a lot more space, I think, at their venue. Plus, they're not doing any vendors, and I'm pretty certain, if Games Workshop's out there, it might just be 1 or 2 people. If flying is something that can happen for them, I don't know. That's a weird thing popping up, but this is probably how we're gonna get our previews for a little bit, and it's like, okay, like it's much like what would you rather have? Nothing? No, I like watching them present these things. It's fun, and it's a great way to spend a Saturday morning sometimes. So
yeah, like I said, I think it is. You have your pros and your cons, because again, your pro is you're still getting that new bug, and then it does stink. You have your con whenever you're like, oh man, I can't wait to see the reveals, and then
you don't get anything.
There's nothing for you. But at the same time, this is probably stuff we're going to see in the next 3 to 4 months.
Actually, I do like it. I'm not sure if you have any of those articles up, but every once in a while they'll put up an article. Like they did it for 40K. They've done it for. They just recently did it for Underworlds, and it says, "Hey, between this month and this month, here's what we're going to release for you." Now, Underworlds, Underworlds, they get kind of specific, but like, if you gave me like a 3-month window, said, "Hey, this is what we're planning to release this month," and even if you had an anecdote that said this may change based upon insert pandemic thing reason here, whatever.
Absolutely.
Like, I just appreciate that as an adult who has bills.
Right.
If I'm just I'm like, oh, like Shadow and Pain, like I budgeted for that, so it's like it's nice when I can budget for the things I know I'm going to want to get, and then every once in a while if I have extra money and there's something else sparkly and new, I'm like, oh, I can buy that, I can afford that right now. So
and again, I know that it's they don't want to worry about schedule changing and have people gripe, and they don't want people thinking, oh, there's a thing coming out that I want right around the corner, so I'm gonna hold on and I'm just gonna buy what I want. Whereas in my mind, I see it exactly as you said it. It's, oh, this isn't going to come out for 3 months, so I know I can buy that hero I want now.
Right. Yeah. Like, just having a general timeline, I think, is hugely beneficial, especially with the current state of the world. Like, I want to keep buying my models because they bring me joy, but, like, they just, well, that's getting into future stuff. So
yeah, so let's get into the into what was revealed here. So we had the Warzone Charadon, which is the Warhammer 40k. It's the next step of their narrative.
Now, I'm hoping this is like their Broken Realms. I'm hoping they're taking the Broken Realms myth philosophy with these. And even if it's not galaxy spanning wide, I hope Cardron, this sector, whatever it is, I hope it gets screwed and gets exploded. Like, like make something big happen.
Yeah, do something with it. But yeah, so this is going to see some rules for Death Guard, Adeptus Mechanicus, Imperial Knights, and Drukhari. I'm interested to see what they do for Imperial Knights because I know they are supposedly not in a good place right now.
I'm hoping this is like with Drukhari being here that they give us that Lilith model around the same time.
Yeah. And then they also announced a mission pack, Plague and Purge, for Warhammer 40k Crusade.
Yeah, I love that they're doing this for like individual armies. I love Crusade. I yell at the club Legionnaire Legions over here. I yell at them all the time. Like, can we stop pretending like we're gonna win a 40k event? Can we just play Crusade in power level, please? And they always get mad at me, but I'm gonna keep saying it.
I honestly, again, I don't play 40k, so I didn't really look too much into this. Here's what I would love to see from something like this. The book broken into 2 sections. The first section is mission packs as if you are playing as the Nurgle player. So, like, the missions are very Nurgle focused. And the back half is if you are playing as if you were playing against Nurgle, and Nurgle's like the bad guy.
Oh, yeah. So it's valuable to both groups, Nurgle and non-Nurgle players, yeah.
Right. And I think that would be super fun, super interesting, and again, you would have something for both people. Because, like, I know in our battle tomes, everyone has, supposedly missions that are based around the army, but there are some of them that...
Well, they're made to show off the strengths of the army that book is.
They're supposed to. Yeah. I know for the Fire Slayers, like, there's one that has all of you running around. It's like, there's no way a Fire Slayer can win this.
Oh, real quick. I know we don't talk about hobby, but just to talk about that, this brought a tear of joy to my eye. You and I recently had a game, my Slaanesh Force, which I haven't played in a while, against your Lumineth Force, which is still a work in progress.
Yes.
What we play, shifting objectives, I think.
Yeah.
2,000 points, and we had a hell of a game. I remember your face lighting up. You went to go move a model, and you're just like, "Oh my god, I get to move 6 inches." It was Christmas Day for you.
I was sitting there, and it was so funny because, again, like, so for me, playing Dispossessed, Stormcast,
KO,
and Fire Slayers, and Iron Jaws, I'm pretty sure I have all the 4-inch movement armies in the game. And so then I remember everyone saying how they were slow, and so I didn't even think to double check the War Scroll. I moved 4 inches, and then I'm like, wait, these are elves. Double check the War Scroll, saw 6, and I was like, oh my god, I have all these room to do extra activities with.
I know. People don't understand.
Like, it was so great.
I have the opposite because playing Dodge the Cane so much, and even in that game playing Slaanesh and having Dame Nets on the board, like just being able to run and charge. Like when I play an army where it's like you don't get to do that, it's like, oh boy, how do people live like this?
Yeah, I just as a quick side, I had so much fun with that game. It was probably the most fun I'd had playing Age of Sigmar in a very long time.
Right.
It definitely has renewed my vigor to get that army done.
Teclis definitely put a hurt on the Slaanesh Force because anytime I want to get a spell off, you're like, nah. Anytime I want to get rid of a spell, you're like, cool, can you beat a 10? Maybe, I don't know.
which you never did. But I did enjoy turning Teclis Nope into a saying. That was...
Yeah.
I feel like, honestly, if my opponent doesn't have shooting, I think Teclis is a lot easier to keep alive. It's going to be those shooting armies that's going to be the problem.
Yeah, that'll be a problem. But considering I don't play shooting armies, me and you are going to have some fun games where I'm running uphill as hard as I can.
And I'm trying to hold you downhill as much as I can.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so then they also announced
New Drukhari Codex.
the Drukhari Codex. So that's going to be very interesting.
Right, and it's like, here's the thing too. Like, I don't regret, because I got a great deal from Frontline Gaming for their secondhand shop trading and all that Drukhari army. It was just primed. That I got from another club mate for a really good deal. Like, I'm so happy with where it's at, because it got turned into mats that everyone in the club's going to use forever from Frontline Gaming, which is my favorite mat. But every time I see Drukhari, there's the part of my brain that goes, "Hey, you should, like, I know you're waiting for your Inari, but why don't you just do Drukhari as well?" And I'm just like, please stop. I have a Dark Elf army. Like, I don't need another one, but I kind of want another one.
So they are the witch elves of 40k. I mean, that's
well, like, yeah. Like I said, I want to hold out for your Nari hard as possible. So we'll see.
All right, and then let's see your Dark Angels was announced,
which
okay, and then moving on.
Nope. Hold up. I'm excited. This is my 40k army. That is amazing artwork on this cover right here.
Yeah.
Whoever they got to do this artwork, I forget. I've heard it mentioned before, but I think he's doing a lot of the Space Marine stuff, if not more. It's phenomenal. Like, thank you for paying someone to do this level of justice on these battle tomes. Like, they're gorgeous. I can't wait to pick this up. I can't wait to read the new lore. Yeah, I'm excited for this. So,
I have my fingers crossed, because we got Space Wolves got that new unit that
Makari's,
had a little bit of had a little bit to them. It looks like I didn't look too deeply at them, but it looks like the Blood Elves are getting, or Blood Elves,
Blood Angels,
the Blood Angels.
You're not even playing World of Warcraft right now. I know what you mean, though. I've said it too. I've done that with talking to my wife, and I'm like trying to talk about like Warhammer or something, and I say Blood Elves, and she's like, "What?"
But the Blood Angels, it looks like, was it the Flesh Terrors? Seem to be. Is that a new kit? I saw an icon. I don't know if it's an upgrade kit or what.
They're a successor chapter of the Blood Angels, but they're a very popular one. So
it is. Into the pre-orders. I apologize, people at home. Yeah, the Death Company Intercessors. It looks like they have some iconography. I don't know if it's just an upgrade or if it's a new kit.
The Death Company has always been around, so that's not something new.
Well, I'm talking about there's a pre-order up for Primaris.
Oh, it probably
yeah,
because actually Primaris, they did that with the Aggressors, the last edition, and I actually found one. They had it was the Aggressor kit, but it came with, like, it'd be Dark Angel Aggressors or Blood Angel Aggressors, and it came with the upgrade sprue, so specifically for the Aggressors. So, like, they're probably doing stuff like that still. So, okay, so they did it with Space Wolves, did with Blood Angels. They'll probably have something for Dark Angels.
I hope
it's the
that
bikes.
It's some way to add robes to Primaris.
I hope it's bikes with the upgrade to give them the wings so we can make them Raven Guard.
We'll see.
How about that?
I mean, yeah. All right, and then they touched on Necromunda. They announced House of Artifice, which, in all honesty, I looked away and then looked back, and I was like, oh, are these new Drukhari models?
Yeah.
No, they're not. If they were going to make it this close to Dark Eldar tech, they could have at least painted them differently.
Yeah, I know. I'm still bothered by the one guy. He's on screen right here. He has, like, the pistol. He has the claw arm, and, like, he's armored to the teeth. But they didn't give him at least a pair of leather gloves.
No.
Like, come on.
All right, and then on to a Middle Earth release. We have
Entmoot.
Treebeard.
Yep.
We have Treebeard with
Merry and Pippin.
Merry and Pippin, and which is great because I'm not going to lie, the current Ent models are a little embarrassing. It looks like someone went out and just grabbed twigs off of a tree and glued it to a base.
And I think, can't Merry and Pippin, can't they go on Treebeard too? Like, they have him on foot here, but they can ride him as well. Like,
yes, they can be on him or off him. Great. It's great. Greatness all around. So then after that, they touched on more Underworld's Dire Chasm.
Which
Uh,
I, as somebody who has his Daughters of Cain for Warhammer Underworlds, and never needing to buy another set again, as far as I'm concerned, for love of them, for for the game, because like that's going to be my Dire Chasm Underworlds army forever. I want this kit for these models.
these are truly awesome looking models. I know everyone's saying that, like, oh, you get a Chaos Sorcerer and 4 Chaos Lords.
Three Chaos Lords. That well,
3 Chaos Lords.
that's what I'm trying to convince our group. So we can't talk about it too much, but we have a Slaves of Darkness fight club we're forming, so we can't talk about it. But yeah, I want us to get this so we can each make our own character out of it. And I already called dibs on the girl on screen here, the leader.
I don't know which one I want. Yeah, they're all awesome. I love them all. They did a great job with that. And then on to the big news, the initial announcement of the Slaanesh Mortals, starting with Pretty Boy Poster Boy himself.
Which we're gonna well, let me play the video. I'm gonna try and play the video live here. I'll mute it. It's gonna work. It's gonna work. You can keep talking.
Okay.
I don't think it's gonna work. Never mind. Moving on. Picture Sigvald. Let's bring him up.
If you listen to anything I talk about in any of our videos, you will know that I absolutely love AOSified fantasy models.
Especially when they look like the anime villains, Castlevania villains, whatever you'd like.
Oh, I know.
Like, holy cow. His aesthetic flair is on point for what he is. I love it.
And I mean, it's so in all honesty, if let's say that fantasy, let's say this is all new and this isn't a named character or anything like that, and they just want to come out with a regular Sigvald, not with horns, I feel like you just take the horns off, and I feel like this is what the original sculptor had in mind when he made that model.
Oh yeah.
I feel like this is how he was always supposed to look. This is how he looked in the sculptor's head.
See, I keep loving these because they used to do it for Star Wars like long ago. They were like the Unleashed versions or Unchained versions, like that. Like especially here, because like I'm gonna scroll between the two versions. Like there's the old version, which is great. He's a great model, and it's just like, hey, we didn't just turn it to 11. We turned it to 11 and then wrote 13 on the dial and managed to turn it up to that as well.
Yeah. I mean, it's an amazing model. And for people complaining about Techless, you might be able to take that arm. That might be a good. So they also showed off the Painbringers.
Oh, do I have to scroll? Okay. I didn't want to scroll away from Sigvald yet, but I guess we will.
Well, yeah, it's time. It's time.
All right.
So the Painbringers are the heavily armored units of Slaanesh.
Mm-hmm.
Again, it's just on point.
With the most luxurious shields you could ever imagine.
I know. I like the one that wants to eat you. Again, 10 out of 10. Exactly what they should have looked like. No questions asked.
Yeah. I actually am really interested in these Twin Souls, the alternate kit for this, or ultimate build for this kit. I just like the lore of, because it really plays into the Celeste, where there's 2 in 1 sort of thing, but this is truly like 2 souls merged into 1, so it's a nice human and demon mix.
Yeah, I know people have been kind of griping about the faces a little bit, but I have absolutely no issue with them. I don't think you're going to have a normal looking face if you shove a demon soul into somebody.
No, and like I said, and it's head swaps are easy to do too. So it's like I imagine you're gonna see, and these are right for head swaps. Like I will probably put some Witch Elf heads on a few of these for sure.
I love this whip. This whip pose is awesome.
Yeah, that's a good pose. I feel bad because that's good. Like I hope the whip connects to the butt on the back of this model, because otherwise that whip's broken.
I would glue it in. But now, to be fair, though, for Warcry, my what are the beast guys called? But whoever the beast guys are,
The
they have a
Untamed
whip,
Beasts.
and my whip's still in.
That's
Yeah,
true.
my whip's still working.
That's true. If they're a little thicker, I guess it's okay. These probably are too, because I bet those are 32 mil bases from looking
Yeah.
at other pictures. So yeah, that's probably a thicker whip. Yeah.
All right, so on to the next article here. We are rounding the corner for news. We got
Blood
There's
Angels.
new Blood Angel rules, so that's super exciting to see them.
I can't. And my club has always loved Blood Angels. I didn't follow for them. I went for Dark Angels, but there's a big, strong presence of Blood Angels in my club, and so I love that they get excited, and I also love friend Paul Murphy, TPM. He does the Forge Narrative podcast, which is one of my favorite 40K podcasts. He's a mark for Blood Angels, so I can't wait for his review on this. It's gonna be our review for Broken Realms and Wrathy, because it's like, everyone else shut up. I'm gonna talk for as long as possible about the thing I love.
I have to be fair. I have to be honest. I'm surprised that you never did get into Blood Angels because, again, they're a bunch of pretty boys with
Yeah. Oh yeah.
a little bit of an anger streak, and I know how much you love painting red armies.
You're not wrong. My wife yells at me too. Like, as soon as she saw the Sanguinary Guard, she's like, "Why don't you play these instead? These seem more you." And it's solely because when I was introduced to 40K lore, I was introduced to Cypher and the Dark Angels first, and that's what I latched onto. That's the only reason. And I can't bring myself to break away from my chapter I've been loyal to for all these years.
Again, read the article to go into some of their stratagems and stuff. We won't go over them here because
we don't understand it.
We won't do them justice. So, yeah. So on to the next, we have a Warhammer Underworlds Beastgrave additional or alternative rules from an Alliance of Glory
for free. Thank you. Like, I appreciate that. Thanks, G-Dub.
This is awesome. I can't imagine how they would have balanced it, but
who cares?
This basically
it's
lets
free.
you make. Yeah. Who cares? Again, at the end of the day, who cares if it's balanced or not? But it essentially allows you to make up a warband instead of taking them as static.
Mm-hmm.
So just know that's out there. If you're still playing Underworlds, which I hope you are, take a look at it and give it a shot.
Yep.
All right, next article is going to be another quick one here. Total War and Warhammer Go mobile.
Yeah.
I know some people were excited about this.
I'll put this on my phone.
I'm a little hesitant.
It's a mobile game. Like, what are you going to do?
It's a mobile game, and NetEase Games is not exactly known for their not pay-to-win features.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, so I have a feeling you're going to start off with dwarves, and you're going to have the option of warriors one-handed, and you can pay for two-handed.
I gotcha.
So we'll see. Hopefully it's not bad. I wouldn't mind playing them. I wouldn't mind having this on a mobile device. This could be really fun.
Yeah. I'm going to download it just because I really like Total War Warhammer 2. I've played it a little bit. There was some free-to-play weekends, but I don't have a computer strong enough to really handle the game to the level I want. So
I have a computer that can handle it. I just don't have a brain that can handle it. No matter what I do, like, I cannot get anything to win against anything. Everyone's always mad and angry about everything. I can't figure it out.
Well, I know. Well, it's. I'm like, oh, maybe I could pull out the old edition and we could play a game of like classic Warhammer Fantasy. But like, nah, I'm not gonna subject you to that. What's the point?
Well, again, I've always told you, man, I'm always willing to give it a shot. It's something I always wanted to play and never got the opportunity. So,
well, see, here's the thing we're waiting for too. Like at the bottom of this article, they also show off Warhammer: The Old World, which is going to be done by Forge World, which is set in the Old World setting, which is great. It's a great setting. Still have no idea what it's going to be. Like
again? So this is our. I know we handled Old World on the normal episodes, but first off, I love how they slipped this in. There was no mention of it anywhere.
Yeah,
and they're like, "Oh, by the way,
yeah, all this stuff you're playing, these games, like, yeah, there's gonna be a tabletop game for it somehow."
Right. But yeah, so with the trailer, whenever they originally showed this, they said I forget exactly what it was, but everything comes around even squares.
Yeah,
So,
but like, is it going to be 28 millimeter? Like, because like, the
I
thing
don't
is like
know.
too, it's like looking at it like,
A part of me is wondering, is it going to be maybe 12 millimeter, where you actually have smaller, you have a larger force, but you have smaller models. But again, the problem with that is that doesn't feel very Forge Worldy.
yeah, like
But
for the here's the thing: if it was the same rule set, it wouldn't take them 3, 4, 5 years, however long it's taking to do this, because they
right,
have the rule
right.
set, and it wasn't a
I
terrible rule set. Like, sure, there could be tweaks, but the other thing is too, it's like I can't see why they wouldn't want to make these the same scale that exists today, or at least close. Because even if someone has zero interest in the old world, which there's people out there that have that, fine, not a problem.
right.
They can at least look at them and go like, "Ooh, I can use that to convert up to Age of Sigmar."
Yeah, this, I mean, here's the thing is there's so many different spinning plates that all have to be kept in the same place, because one, you can look at it and go, oh my gosh, they're going to come out with all this old world stuff. Maybe if they're going to come out with humans, I can actually upgrade my cities lists
Mm-hmm.
to have better models. But at the same time, it's Forge World. Forge World is not going, typically is not known for their large releases.
Right.
I mean,
They're not going to
it
release
was
a
a
whole army quickly. By their
right. I mean,
yeah,
it was a
maybe they will. I don't know.
big deal. It was a big deal whenever they released Bill the Pony. I mean,
Oh hell yeah!
I
Bravest
mean, I
pony in the
think
land.
the only army that we've actually seen come out of Forge World in recent memory is Iron Hill Dwarves, and even then, there's very limited skulls. Um,
Yeah, and
I mean, I
Forge.
guess not in comparison for Middle Earth, but it is in comparison to Age of Sigmar or 40k.
But Forge World has taken on more of the specialist games role, so I don't know. Maybe they'll do plastics. Like it's possible. I don't know. Um, it's still so
I
far away. It's like who cares right now? You know what I mean? Like when it
I
happens,
think
we'll talk about it.
the only thing I'll tell people, because again, whenever I start talking to random people about this, it's like they've already made up their mind as to what it is, and I'm the only thing I'm going to say is expect it to be something you don't expect,
Yeah, like here's the thing. Like
because it's
you gotta think about like if they said it's 28 millimeter, it's gonna be similar to the old game or however, but it's gonna be on squares. Okay, so I'll just rebase all my old high elves that I rebased the rounds, sadly, even though they're not in Age of Sigmar anymore. Except for the Phoenix Guard. I would just rebase them back to squares and then I don't give them any money besides like a $50 rule book. That's not a good business model.
right, right, and again, like, and here's the thing is Warhammer Fantasy discontinued was discontinued primarily due to sales.
Right.
I don't know if they would spend all of this time and effort. 5 years of development is what I've heard rumblings of,
Yeah.
to just release the same thing that failed previously.
Right.
And again, and I'm not saying that Warhammer Fantasy is a bad game. I'm not saying anything about that. So don't
Yep.
hate me for that.
Yep.
I'm stating the simple fact of the matter is they're a company, they want profit. Warhammer Fantasy in its last iteration did not generate enough profit to make it viable. So to redo the exact same thing, the logic isn't there.
Right. But like I said, at the
So
same time, if you want to counter that logic with other logic, if they made newer versions of all those old models, people would buy them to convert to Age of Sigmar. So it's like, and Age of
absolutely,
Sigmar is doing well. So
absolutely,
it's like, I mean, we're gonna wait another few years anyway. We're
yeah.
only
Well,
gonna bring this
well
up, and
again,
we're gonna rehash this same argument every time we see this
yeah,
stupid logo that's on screen right
absolutely.
now until we figure out what it is.
And one last note on it to counter my own um, train of logic there. Why would they show the logo without much else that is only going to paint a picture of fantasy to then subvert expectations of what people are hoping for?
I don't know.
So who knows? It's a conundrum shoved inside of a contradiction. I'm excited to see where it is.
Yeah, but we'll
All right.
years down the road when we're in episode 100 something, we'll be talking about it, I'm sure.
All right. So next up, we have um, another Blood Angels article that came
It's
out
like they're
with.
on
Uh,
pre-order right now.
yeah, yeah. Also, I don't know if this is the same image they used as the last one, but this is the thinnest bolter I've ever seen.
Well, yeah, it's might be stretched out a
Um,
little bit. You never know.
yeah, you just pulled it. Yeah, that's also yeah, okay. Never mind. We're not gonna. So this one kind of goes into the Black Rage, which is of course the worst kept secret of 40k. Again, more information on rules, more pictures of the army.
It's all about Crusade, so yeah.
Yeah,
Which,
yeah,
like I
yeah.
said, is a great way. I hope we get something like this for Age of Sigmar. I hope
Oh,
my
I
club
hope we
comes to
get it.
realize that we can play this in 40k and stop pretending like
Oh,
we're
I
going to
hope.
win an event. So
I every time I see anything Crusade, I just hope that we see AOS Crusade in the near future.
yeah,
All right, next article. We have another preview online coming in December. This one's going to be the Black
this
Library
it's this
edition.
coming Saturday actually, December 5th.
Yep, yep, this Saturday. Um, so, like I said, we'll see. Um,
Yeah, there's. I'm hoping to see the announcement of the next full Gotrek novel. That's my big hope, honestly.
yeah,
Because I love that series. I
uh,
love those books. Like other books, like I'll pick them up as they have interest to me. But like I want the next Gotrek novel. I want to make sure that they keep giving him love.
oh, I'm sure they will. I think if they didn't, people would scream and holler.
I will.
Yeah. So, like I said, we'll see. I I would say I'm not going to tell anyone who's there for models or rules. I wouldn't say hold your breath for anything. There might be like one thing they just want to like tease,
Well,
but don't go in expecting anything major from it.
yeah, I wouldn't either. Like there may be a model that's attached. Like they did it. Like Gotrek is technically attached to the Gotrek series. Alfiria,
Right.
whatever the sister battle, Ethereal Stern or whatever. She
Yeah.
was part of like a release like that. So you might see something like that, but it's like
Yeah. Don't go into it going like, oh man, I can't wait for them to finally talk about vampire pirates. Yeah.
I'll go into this with as it should be. I'll have a cup of coffee or hot cocoa, and I'll be like,
Yeah.
what am I gonna be reading during all this snowy season that's about to hit us? Like a nice good book, a Roaring Fire, good to go.
Okay, so then we go on to the next article here. We have yet another Blood Angel article. This one goes on to, this one's a little bit more match play, goes into a little bit more rules, couple of the, couple of their different abilities they can use. Again, it was a shorter one, not as many pictures,
Just be like
but
it's like, hey, guess what's gonna be
keep
on
the
pre-order this weekend?
keep the fire burning. Keep that fire burning.
Stoke that rage.
So the next article came out was a quick touch on Necromunda, letting you know, hey, we are in Necromunda for the long haul. This is talking about the future, kind of what their roadmap is for 2021.
I will say this. I am on the edge of Necromunda. I'm just waiting for someone to say, "Hey, do you want to play Necromunda?" And then I turn around and I have like an Escher army out of nowhere. Like I'm just seriously waiting. Like I would play this game, just no one around me does.
Yeah, honestly, I really really like Shadow War Armageddon, and I really feel like Necromunda. If they wanted to keep me involved with Necromunda, then they should have just expanded Shadow War Armageddon. From the rules that I've seen,
Shadow War Armageddon was them trying to not do Necromunda and do Necromunda.
right?
So this is what like I don't like when they did Underworlds and that was a success and they're just like, okay, we don't have to really tie things together. Like I think that's why they were safe to go with Necromunda. Like
Yeah,
I'm okay with being something separate.
I will say that like with Necromunda, there has been nothing that has grabbed me. Again, I was really looking forward to Arbites, and whenever they didn't come out, or the Arbiters,
Yeah.
and whenever they didn't come out, it was kind of, oh well. So that's fine though. Like I said, I have enough games going on. I don't need any more. But yeah, so this goes over the roadmap of the next 4 releases, I believe it was.
Yep.
Now again, this just says coming 01, 02, 03, 04. So I don't know if that means we're getting something.
That's quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, quarter 4.
Q1, Q2.
Yeah.
Okay.
So.
Okay.
Yep. So you're gonna get something every 3 months for Necromunda at the very least.
Perfect. Great. Um, and then finally, on Thanksgiving, we got our Age of Sigmar meta watch,
Yeah, with
specifically
some great art right
how
here.
to handle KO.
Man, that ship
Which
is not having a good day. It is scared.
I I love that they decided to give the face on the hull the an expression.
Yeah.
And again, like I said, since I really haven't touched KO since they've been revitalized, just thinking like I can't even imagine like what do you mean how to deal with KO? You just look at him funny. That's all. That's
Not quite.
but yeah, like I said, I mean, and I love they showed two lists. They show
Yep.
kind of a more typical list. I love that this guy did take 20 Thunderers, 480 points of Thunderers, and one mortar. I'm not
Hmm.
100% sure about the one mortar, but I'm not a good player, so it's definitely a better idea. But yeah, I this if I did play KO, this is probably the list I would kind of go towards.
Right.
Um,
And that was Alex, and then Julian is the other one from
and this is a little bit more of a
this.
creative list, which I
Yeah.
also really like because they bring in who do they bring in?
Brian
Oh yeah, this is so it's a
Canary.
cities list that brings in KO.
Yeah.
Um, I was very that's also very
Which has
creative,
to be
very
Tempest Eye.
interesting.
Yep.
Yep, Tempest Eye. Um, and of course, I'm a super fan that there's two units of Iron Drakes and a unit of Iron Breakers.
Yeah.
Although, again, I got to say, I feel like the Iron Breakers are more of a narrative choice than a effective choice. Um, yeah, when compared to some of the other Anvil units in cities, I think there are some better choices for the
Well,
same price.
you guys stick at all the dwarves. Like I said,
Yeah, yeah.
I understand.
Well, again, they
If I
do
was
it.
to do a mixed dwarf force, I'm like just dwarves, just dwarves.
Yeah, yeah.
Or
Well, again, he
dwarven.
does
Sorry.
have they do have 6 Demogryph Knights and 10 Shadow Warriors, so I think it's a really good list. I think it's definitely really fun.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's
But yeah,
nice to see these. I'm glad that these are continuing again, and they're doing some great stuff with this. So please keep both meta watches up.
oh yeah, I absolutely love these. They're really fun to read.
Yeah, and the
All
way they're
right,
handling them really fits each community. Like the 40K community is
yes,
getting like nitty gritty stats, whereas Age of Sigmar community we're getting stats, but we kind of do stats on our own already with some of the great
yeah,
podcasts out there. So this is just like like I think they're hitting it perfect for each community.
yeah. All right, so the next article we have is yet more Blood Angels. This time of
No,
the
these are flesh
Flesh
tearers.
Terrors. Oh,
Flesh.
it's the same thing.
No.
Uh, I absolutely love this dark burgundy that they use,
Yeah.
especially whenever you go down to the picture to see the army. It's so cool. But yeah, so this kind of goes over just confirming that Flesh Terrors are getting a little bit of a separate rule set.
A little bit more than just like, hey, they're a successor. Like they're a pretty
Right.
big successor chapter. Like
Yeah.
they're
Yeah.
the way Black Templars are for Imperial Fists. That's what Flesh Tearers are
Yeah.
for Blood Angels. So
Yeah. All right, so on to the next one, we have celebrate Thanksgiving with a host of free wallpapers. So yeah, so there is
yeah,
a boatload of them, and they're actually pretty good. Yes, it is all artwork that we've seen previously. However, it's
they
good to have it in.
they formatted it like here's your desktop, here's your phone wallpaper. I kind of wish
Yeah,
there was like some more like maybe like one for each army, but
yeah,
you can't really be upset. And
right,
really, if you want good
right,
artwork, like technically since I know HTML, I just kind of like like I see this artwork on like the Warhammer community website. I know how to make it a wallpaper size.
yeah,
So
yeah.
it's nice. Like, hey, thanks, we appreciate it.
I do have to say, I think both the computer wallpaper and phone wallpaper. I think Sisters takes it in both categories.
Sisters always takes it. My goodness.
All right. So on to the next one here. We have Death on Swift Wings.
Probably the only Middle Earth like reveal that you and I are just like, okay, whatever.
Yeah. So these are the Warbats, the Gundabad Warbats. Again, any Middle Earth release, I'm happy to see,
Yeah.
but they beat this release into the damn ground. I mean, they were hyping them before they came out, and it was like just constant release of like, oh, the Warbats, 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 and like, in all honesty, I'm not gonna lie, I think they're actually pretty ugly. um, the actual runes that they use to like push off of are awesome looking.
Mm-hmm.
Those faces, though, holy hell! But thankfully, they're finally out, so we can move on with our life.
Yep.
And so next article is another real big one that I'm super happy for. The future of Warhammer Underworlds.
Yep. And like I said, they're giving us a roadmap, and this is a pretty detailed roadmap. But like even like a looser roadmap, like we saw for Necromunda, I really appreciate, and I wish we would see that a little bit more for the core games, 40K and Age of Sigmar.
Yeah. So this shows us that we are getting all 6 warbands. Boom, boom, boom. Which I absolutely prefer over I can't remember if it was the last one or the time before where it was like we were nearing the end of the year and we still had a warband or 2 to come out.
Well, they were always they were doing them in like pairs.
Pairs.
Yeah.
Which
I think I'd
rather see it just spread out like this. Yeah.
Yeah. Because like I look at it like right now, like I'm like January, like well, of course Dire Chasm, like I technically played both those armies. I'm not gonna stress about getting that, but like January, like I want that chaos, so maybe I'll split that with the guys in our little fight club. March,
right.
Hashtag Vampirates, I guess. I don't know. That is definitely like a cool looking female model. I'm like, well, that could be great for my daughter's Kane conversion. And then June's IDK, that could be more conversions. Like, cool. Like,
yeah. Like I said, so we definitely they have only shown us for the Seraphon. They've only shown us the Skink and one other model.
A Star Priest. Right? I think it's a Star Priest.
Yeah. So I wonder if that's pointing towards an all Skink warband. I'm interested to see where we are with that.
I kind of hope not. I want to see a Kroxagar.
I can see it going either way.
But yeah, I see what you mean.
I think everyone that plays wants to see a new Kroxagar because that is one of the worst models that GW offers.
Yeah.
And then of course March, like I said, we have that silhouette of a lady holding a saber with big hair, and the icon is definitely some sort of skull with fangs.
It's the bats that the vampires ride. That's the face of it. So
yeah, I mean it could be.
That's why we're all saying vampires. Like it's definitely death of some sort. I can't, you know what I mean?
Yes, it's definitely death, but it could be vampires. It could be. I could even see a stretch of the icon, not the silhouette. The icon being something Flesh Eater Court.
Well, see the icon, no, and we just got the Flesh Eater Court one last season, so it's not going to be Flesh Eater Courts again.
I'm not saying it is. I'm just saying put it in its own room, separate from everything else.
It could be.
It's definitely death.
It could be like that's a vampire and the rest are zombies. Like who knows? Like that might be the only cool one in the box. We'll see.
Yeah. Well, again, I'm talking icon alone, standalone, no silhouette.
Now, actually, April, I've seen 2 things pop up that I was like, I could see both. I originally said, maybe Bone Splitters. Someone said Spider Fang, and I'm like, ooh, maybe. Yeah. I see it. I
could see it, but it is a bone with fangs. So any sort of bone, fang, something from orcs or greenskins, probably.
Yeah, I know. And of course, OBR and IDK.
Yeah, May is definitely a rib cage with shoulder pads, so there's not too much question there.
And maybe in June, maybe this will mean that inside of Warhammer Underworlds, you can take Lotan, and he's useful. Let us hope.
That's the surprise. It's just Lotan.
It's just Lotan, and he wins.
All right, so on to the second to last news article.
Another
is the Broken Realms, the price of treason. So here's another story.
Right. So actually, this inspired. I just recently had a game a few days ago against a friend of the show, Alex, our Russian friend. I say Russian friend. He's technically a full U.S. citizen now. He passed that test a while ago.
Citizen.
But he came over and we had a workout and we had a game, and he played Anvilgard and I played Har-Quran. And we played a formatted version of the Fall of Anvilgard battle plan, and boy was it close. It came down to like Anvilgard won by like 2 points. It was so close. It was after reading this. We were planning a game already, and then this released, and he was thinking about playing as City's Army. I'm like, hold on, this is what we're doing. And he's like, oh hell yeah. After he read this, he's like, yeah, hell yeah. We're playing Harker under Sandguard because that's what the story is about.
Yeah. All right, and then on to the final one. So it's once again, it's going to be the common trend of this show. The Armies of Parade. If you wanted to submit your army, too late. You had until midnight.
As of recording, we're still good. As of you hearing this, when it gets released,
you're not getting this out in the next 6 hours. All right.
I know this is due out next Friday. We're ahead of schedule for once. As of recording, you and I can get in on this. As of
if you are in the sound of my voice,
then what you need to do, and if you're not, what you need to do is go to Twitter, type in hashtag Armies on Parade 2020, and look at some amazing things.
This is definitely the cream of the crop this year.
I mean, once this went online for obvious reasons, because stores are open and closed randomly, so like based upon governors, countries, whatever you want to call it, and different things. But once this went online, it was immediately going, okay, this isn't like high school regional football now. This is the Olympics. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, people are pulling out their
Space Olympics.
I was going to try and do a new Daughters Cane board. Time got away from me. I started focusing on other things like my Terathi supplement I'm still working on, and clearly it's not going to be out by the time I thought it would be, regardless. Looking at all the entries, I'm ecstatic to see so many great entries, and I'm also happy I didn't waste my time, because I'm like, I can't touch that stuff. Holy cow. People went all out, and good for them. And also Saturday, the 19th of December, GW on their Twitch is going to be having a stream celebrating all this and showing off the winners and just probably some amazing ones. So nice. I will be trying to tune in for that if I can.
Nice. All right. So now on to our palette cleanser, our rumor engines.
Yep.
Again, we did November, the first week of November last month. So we only got 3 this time.
And as tradition for the second episode, since I am a playtester and I don't want to accidentally get close to something, I'm only going to guess that these are 40K models, and I will figure out what 40K model they could be. Whether it's a 40K model or obviously not, you know.
So November 10th, we have, it's clearly a quiver, where we can see a little bit of a tuft of hair, and there are lightning bolts on the arrows. So this is clearly something Stormcast related. All the helms, all the Stormcast helms, all have that tuft of hair, and as someone painted a bunch of Judicators, those arrows are not exact, but very close. So I'm gonna say if it's, I don't know what it could be. I'm gonna say maybe it's a new Warcry unit.
Okay. I'm going to say it's White Scars from 40K. They're a new bike unit where the sidecar is a guy with bow and arrow instead of bolter or melt-a-gun.
Okay, all right. So they're going to take a page out of the Imperial Guard with the cavalry on horse.
Yes. Yep, Death Riders.
All right. So then we have the one from November 17th. I heard a whole bunch of things. I gotta say, I think that this is something Skaven related. I could maybe see death, but I just with the kind of hobbled togetherness of it, I think I'll go Skaven.
To me, this screams it's the old backwater like redneck Necron world. Where they didn't leave them, all the good stuff. They left them all the shitty stuff. So this is like the worst of the worst Necrons. But
this is a redneck Custode weapon.
It's a redneck Necron weapon.
Yeah. So this, I'll say this is the Skaven. I forget what it is. There's already a Skaven that holds a pike with 2 prongs. I think it's an updated model of that.
Yeah. Okay.
Final from the 24th. It is a feminine looking hand holding a rapier. On Hope, I'm going to hope that it's a new Witch Hunter model. But I'm also going to then put a secondary of vampires.
Actually, I'm going to go against what I normally do here. I want to say this is Middle Earth.
Oh,
It just looks too simple, which fits the Middle Earth aesthetic, not the Age of Sigmar or 40k.
It doesn't have the thicker. It doesn't have the thicker wrist.
Yeah.
I guess. Although I don't know. I mean, there's nothing in Middle Earth saying you can't have a rapier. I just don't know of any rapier they have.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. All right. And so to take us on home, we'll go over the releases of the past month and the preview for next week. So we had on the second week, technically, we had the Blood Bowl second season edition finally released. So people can quit belly aching about that.
Yep.
Go play your football, you nerds. That's there was a limited release of Middle Earth. This was the Heroes of
Helm's Deep.
This is a great pack. If you want Rohan, it's a great place to get Rohan Heroes. A surprising place to get Elf Heroes.
Yeah, like these two elves, the archers and the swordsmen. Like, I have a unit of each of those as like potential allies for my Rivendell models, just because they're so cool. And like, I saw this and I was like, no, don't do a new Mirkwood army. You don't need one.
Yeah, the honestly, as much as it pains me, the Hobbit Mirkwood elves are probably some of my favorite elf units from Middle Earth, especially the ones with the shields. Boy. Yeah. You could also
did you pick up Gimli with the axe and the orc?
I did not. I'm trying to reserve this to things that I only think I'm going to paint, and as much as I want it, I don't ever see myself sitting down to paint.
Yeah, he's not a game piece, so I get it.
And then they came out with
the old Ent. Moving
on. Yeah. And then of course there was some orcs along with the orc battering ram. The battering ram was another one that I was very tempted to get. Even if it wasn't something I would use because I don't have an orc army, it's definitely something I could see using as a proxy for any sort of battering ram.
Yeah, I could see that.
But yeah, I didn't.
And then
worry about that.
Then they talked about Decans in Decay, which we already went over.
Yeah. All right, and then the next week we got Legolas mounted with bow.
Because like they forgot about these guys in the last one.
Yeah. So this was a surprise here. Theoden from the Warg attack. Like, why you would ever use a Theoden that doesn't come with the Battle of Palinor Fields, I don't understand.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like, you already released one of the best models the entire line offers.
Yep.
Why you would take a step back 20 years, I don't know.
I mean, like I said, this is definitely more of a... This is closer to historical wargaming than GW has been ever since they've done Warhammer Ancients. So, like, I see why they have this here. So
yeah, I guess if you don't want them in full war regalia, you have that option. But then you have Gamling. Great to have him on a horse. A little bit of a harder model to get hold of. You have the Warg Riders, which the Warg Riders are ridiculous. So normally in the game, whenever you shoot a cavalry unit, you roll a die to see if it hits the rider or the mount. Right. And then if it hits the rider, it's typically done because all horses just run whenever their rider's slain. The wargs are the exception. You want the rider to be hit because the warg is the better unit, the better model. Right. So the warg will stay and fight. We also had a pre-order for the scouts, and then this is whenever the battering ram officially went up.
Gotcha. And the Heroes of Helm Deep. Okay,
yeah. And of course you had the Haldirs ranged and weapons. Oh, look, this is also whenever some Blood Bowl merch came out, some shirts.
So, yeah. See, I like that Blood Elf, the Witch Elf on the Blood Bowl shirt, because I bought that kit so many times just to use those Witch Elves as like Hag Queens in my army, but can we just get rid of that Blood Bowl logo on the side there?
Yeah, please. We just scrub that out. All right. So moving along to the next week, we had, which is
The
what's
battalion
up for,
boxes.
yeah, what's up for this week here. So we actually have now, as of time of recording, these are already all sold out on the website.
Yeah, I mean,
um,
let's give a call out. You might be able to find them at your local game store.
yeah,
You could
go to
always
your
check with
local game store if you want
or
them. That's
ministomp.com. He's an online retailer. He may have some of these available. So go with ministomp.com. Give him a shout out.
now again, like I said, we got to touch base on them a little bit. I know this has kind of been played out by everybody else here, but these, I really feel like these were some odd choices this year. It kind of harkens back to the original Age of Sigmar starter set, where it's like, great, here's a bunch of models, but in order to get to a full battle or to get a full box, you're basically still gonna have to buy everything.
Yeah.
Like with Zinch, the only thing that's really needed, like you have the Gaunt Summoner, you have the guys on discs, you have the
You have the Greater
Lord
Demon.
of Change.
Yeah.
But not too much else is in there. It really goes with the army. For the KO, I would say that this is actually a pretty good list. This is actually a pretty good box.
This is a worthwhile box. Yeah. You're gonna take a
You're
frigate.
Gonna use,
Gun haulers are great.
You're going to use a frigate. You're going to use gun haulers.
And you get the named hero. What's his name? You get him as a bonus.
You get him as a tax. And then of course they go with Balloon Boys, which, like I said, most of the time are not the optimum choice. But
well, the thing is, like,
if you get
all these kits that come in here, they're all able to be built in either version.
Right.
So like you have all the options with these. So even though the picture shows them in one variant,
that is a good thing to point out. Yeah. If you are unfamiliar with how the Battle Force boxes go, you are buying the kit, not the models on the box.
Yeah.
So anything that can be built in two ways, you're getting everything that you just got. If you just got the box.
Yep.
Then they did the Gloomspite Gits, where they put two portions of the army and shoved them together. So if you wanted to have two Gloomspite armies, this is the good start.
I mean, I'd rather than maybe have just done more trolls, because I think they just did a Gloomspite one last year.
Right, they did. I would have liked to have seen. Honestly, I feel like Gloomspite Gits was kind of a weird choice. But hey, I'll thank you for doing it. Maybe next time do something a little bit more cohesive.
Yeah. Then Maw Tribes with the giant.
This was the one definitely was the most cohesive force, other than the tacked on Gargant.
Well, like I said, that is just a way for you to save some money. So you can find someone who plays Gargants, and you can get $30 off this box by selling them that for $30, and they're still getting ahead, and you're getting ahead. So
yeah, especially because now you can only buy Gargants in sets of 2. And if you go with the Sons of Nehamat, you only need 3 if you go with the 3 and 3 build. So I do have to say it is a little stinky to see the Gargant in here whenever the Gargants are sold out on the website.
Yeah. You know what I really wish they would do with these, at least on the Age of Sigmar side? Give us, if the army has terrain, put the terrain in there as well.
That would be amazing.
Like, I would rather buy a kit like one of these for holiday bundles where it had the terrain if the army has it, endless spells if they have it, or judgments, whatever you want to call it, and maybe a hero in a unit.
Alternatively, I wouldn't mind just seeing battle line choices.
Like, yeah, like I say, that Star Collecting's trying to fill that role, but
if they had, because again, like, you can always use more battle lines.
Right.
Like if they had a box that was literally just 10 Liberators, 10 Judicators, and 10 Sequitors, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
All right, and then over to the boring 40K side, we had a Space Marine set that was all like the Scouts.
Yep. So you have the vehicle and the Dreadnought that people want, and then nothing else.
Yeah, the
assault, I think as far as the meta is concerned.
Yeah, so that's again, I know nothing about Necrons, so the box looks cool. I don't know if it's any good or not.
Well, I think the thing is between the Space Marine and the Necron, it's like obviously they're playing off of the recent releases, and to top it all off, they're good additions. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
if you bought the Indominus, this is how you go next for sure.
Yeah. Then they went with the Astra Militarum. This
Mhm.
was probably my favorite of the 40K ones because it's all rank and file, it's all tanks, it's all stuff that you're going to use.
Yep, that's what you want.
There's no point where you're going to be like, oh god, more troops. Ugh. The Chaos Space Marines was another one that was also a very good one. They have a hero with the, I forget what that giant monster gun thing is called, but
Mhm.
then you have regular
Forge,
space Chaos
Forge
Space
Fiend,
Marines,
Forge
and
Fiend or Mauler Fiend, I forget.
yeah, it's some sort of fiend. So again, it's a good pick. The Tau is very interesting as well. It's at least a good way to get caught up on drones. That's for damn sure.
Yeah,
And then Tyrannid, I have no idea where Tyrannids are right now, but I don't think it's Gene Stealers.
probably not. I don't know. Like I said, this man. If there was an Eldar one, I would have been tempted.
Yeah,
You know, but like none of these excite me. And I'm happy. I don't need to buy something right now. Like I got some Shadow and Pain to paint. So
yeah. And then if that wasn't enough, if it's indicator enough that they are a little backlogged, there also is the Blood Angels, which again pre-order up today.
mm-hmm.
Came out with the cards, came out with the dice. I didn't check the old sets, but I think this might be a new packaging for the dice, which I actually kind of like.
It is. It's actually reminiscent of the Horus Heresy dice that they've been packaging, which makes me happy because I'm gonna get Dark Angels here in the next couple weeks, month, whatever. In the last Dark Angel dice, you didn't get as many dice. The symbols, I don't know if they were on the one or not. Whatever. But they were $30. I don't want to. Yeah, I don't think they're that. I think these probably might be 20, which I think is pretty good. But yeah, I'm excited that they've switched to this type of packaging for the dice because it's like I don't need a fancy case for my dice. Okay, just give me my dice.
Now I do have to say, whenever I look around to see the dice that I have bought, they're all still in the packaging, and not because I haven't opened them. It's just because I like to put them back where they belong.
Right.
So we got a combat patrol box for the Blood Angels. Again,
which I'm glad
like a
to
good
see.
set to me.
Yeah, I don't know what the price point is on these, but I think it's a good way. If you walk in and you see that book and you're just like, "Oh man, I'd like to start this army." Well, here you go. Start it.
Yep, we got the Death Company Intercessors that has actual Blood Angel. The Blood Angel iconography. Finally, we got the Assault Intercessors.
Yeah.
I as much as I'm trying to get done with Lumineth, I might take a break to paint up one set of these guys.
Yeah, Space Marines paint up quick, so.
We got the Gladiator like we talked about before.
Mm-hmm.
There's a Blood Angel book, the limited edition that just looks insane.
Yep, about Astaroth it looks like, and it's signed by was it Kai Haley, I think. Yeah, because they had a Dark Angel one recently about Luther, but wasn't with the release.
And then of course we have our Gundabad War bats finally up.
Ooh, of course.
And that leads us into the future. So next week, or the Sunday that this is, or the Saturday this is going to go up, we have Dire Chasm is out or up for pre-order. I am going to be buying this as quickly as possible. I love all of the Lumineth and the Slaanesh.
Here's the best part with this set. No matter if you only like one side of it, I guarantee you're not going to have a problem finding someone to sell the other half to.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people like us. Like I love both. I have both these armies. I love them both. I'm going to resist this. But yeah, you shouldn't have a problem if you're just like, I just really want the Lumineth. I don't care about the Slaanesh. You're going to find a way to offload it. No problem.
Yeah. And like I said, this is going to be super cool. In all honesty, like I said, the Slaanesh force. These I hope that the Lumineth I hope the Swordbringer is hints as to what's to come. Um, just like I hope that the Slanesh, the humans, I hope that this is also hints of what's to come that they haven't shown for them yet as well.
Real quick, how about the dice for these?
I was just gonna bring up the
Holy
dice. So
cow! Like I bought the, like I think I have the army specific dice for one for my Sylvaneth and two for my Daughters of Cain, and they're
I'm
good,
buying the
but they're
Lumineth.
not these dice. These dice are immaculate. Holy cow!
I'm buying the Lumineth,
Yeah,
definitely.
definitely.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna get those. I'll probably get the token set because if they're making a sheet that has that many tokens, they're probably going to be needed.
Yeah.
And just like I bought the Beast Grave novel, I'll probably buy the Dire Chasm novel.
Did you read the Beastgrave novel?
I started and didn't finish.
Okay, hopefully you finish this one.
Yeah, I probably will. And then, of course, on top of
actually,
that, they're also
here's the interesting thing. Maybe this was what you're about to say. So you buy the Dire Chasm book and you get 3 cards for the game.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what I think about that. Like,
I mean,
I guess it depends. Like, how important are these to the meta?
yeah. Again, I doubt they're.
Oh, I'm
they're
sorry.
that
I'm sorry. I'm reading it more. They're alternate art versions of the card. Great. Do that more.
Oh, okay.
Sorry. They're
Yeah.
If they already exist, you can get them through the normal ways. Great. If these are alternate art, by all means, please keep doing that.
Now, in the past, I will admit they have released cards like that in that manner. And really, what it boils down to is it's never been something expensive. So it's if you care about it, you're going to know about it, and you're going to be able to pick them up.
Right, but like limited stock and all that. Like, here's why I say
that was
this,
the other thing I was going to say.
Because I used to play X-Wing. If you wanted to have competitive lists in X-Wing, you weren't just buying one of everything, which I think is reasonable for places to do that as far as like business model. But you had to buy 3 to 4 of everything to get all the upgrade cards. Thankfully, Underworlds, if you just buy one of everything, you can make whatever deck you want. I'm okay with that. Because and you don't have to. I don't do that, but like I'm okay with that being the model. But I'd be worried if these weren't alternate art cards, because then you're just like it will start ruining the game if you start doing that. But alternate art cards, great. Please keep doing that.
Right now, whenever they have done that, even after whatever goes out of print, they've actually been very readily available for decent prices on eBay. So that's one thing that's nice is even though GW was kind of shooting themselves in the foot with that, it wasn't the end of the world. So, and then on top of all that, if that wasn't enough, they're also releasing the Grand Alliance books for Warcry, which I'll probably be picking up one of each.
Specific dice to match them as well.
Yeah. I kind of like the white, blue, and black ones.
I like the red and silver ones.
See, I'm not a fan of the white they put in the silver, but that's just a personal taste. And poor Green, no one even brought you up.
No, you're there though.
They're also releasing the Khainite Stalkers and Scions of Flame.
Hell yeah! I mean, Khainite Shadow Stalkers for Christmas. I'll take another box.
Yep.
I'm surprised it was so early, but I'm happy with it.
Yeah, I'm super happy to see this turnaround time get a little quicker. Here's also a Sylvaneth box with some Kurnoth and some Kurnoth Hunters and some Spite or regular Revenants.
Yep.
Free Revenants. Depending on the price of that might be a better buy if you're looking to bolster your forces.
I bet that's going to be a better buy than buying those separate.
Yeah, I have a feeling. Considering that each one's a $50 kit, there's no way it's a $100 box.
Oh yeah, very true. Plus you get the Warcry cards, yeah.
Right. And the Tome of Champions 2020.
Yeah. Which this is your General's Handbook now.
Yeah. So pick that up. If you play Warcry, get the Tome of Champions book if you don't get anything else.
Yep.
And then, of course, we have the Black Library stuff where we have another thing with the Heretic Saint. We have some Space Wolf book. And then we also have the pins and badges that we talked about at the beginning.
Yep.
And that's where we are.
Indeed.
So, any takeaway? Anything you want to bring up we didn't touch on?
I'm just like I said, one, I'm happy that there's not much out that I want to buy, but there's stuff coming down the line. Like I'm looking forward to Sigvald and those new Hedonite models. I'm glad now I can go out and buy some more Shadow Stalkers if I want to expand that unit from 9 to 18. I'm hoping
it
we
seems
get the points for them soon, so we can play them
Yeah.
officially on the tabletop. But yeah, we'll wait and see. Like I said, and like I said, I get my Dark Angels book soon, which will be fun to read through and play a game with here and there whenever I do get games in. So
Yeah. Well, I have my Custodes arm. Well, I don't have my Custodes armor is fully built. Never mind. Redacted.
I win, instant win here.
Yeah. So again, that was a pretty well, considering that we had one less week, and I think we went an extra 10 minutes that we did last time.
Yeah, we did.
Still had a pretty eventful month. So let's wait and see what December has in store, huh?
Yeah, should be good. But you can expect, like I said, this is coming out on the first Friday of the month, so that this will be the 4th. You guys are hearing this if you're listening to it on day of release. And then on the 18th, we'll have our usual regular show with myself, Matt, Dave, and Neil. We're still trying to figure out what we want to do. It's gonna be some sort of year-end type thing for sure. I know other people do that type of thing, but that's what we want to do as well. We're gonna try to put our own twist on it, but you'll hear from us next. And yeah, thanks for tuning in, everybody. What, you don't want to do Brush for Hire?
Brush for Hire. Jingle all the way. Brush for Hire.
All right. Take care, everybody.